If you're in the market for a mechanical gaming keyboard, then this might just be the right one for you. This is the K1 Lite by Gravastar, and right off the bat I'll tell you I like the design, the functionality and the typing experience. There's also a few things that I don't like, which I'll go through right at the end, but let's get straight into it. Right, in terms of design, the keyboard's got a really nice alien-y kind of futuristic design to it, which I really like. And actually, Gravastar follow this design throughout all of their accessories. They also do speakers, they also do mice and other accessories. Actually, I've got one of their mice here. This is the M1 Pro, which I could talk about in a different video, but you can see what I mean. They follow this kind of futuristic design throughout. That's a theme they go for throughout all of their accessories. I think it really helps in keeping the keyboard light, even though it's very well built and it's very kind of solid. But I also think that with all the gaps and stuff that you have here, it probably does help reduce the cost also. This is a 75% keyboard, so you do get the arrow keys on here, and you can see they've got a little screen here which lights up with the Gravastar logo as soon as you turn on the keyboard. At the back of the keyboard, you've got the charging port, a couple of function switches, and right at the bottom, you've got the rubber feet all across four sides of the keyboard, and you also get two level legs that come up, which I also really like. There's also a really nice engine kind of looking pattern at the bottom of the keyboard. This is the snow white color. It does come in black as well, but here's the thing, I bought white specifically because even though this is a gaming keyboard, the snow white doesn't actually scream gaming. It's got a nice futuristic look to it, but I thought in the future I might want to use this as part of a productivity setup. I don't really game that much. When I do, I usually use a controller, so I just thought this is going to complement any setup that I may have in the future. So I went for the snow white version. But if you've got a setup where you're going for a black theme, or if you like the black version, then that is available for you. So functionality wise, you can connect in three ways. You can connect via a Bluetooth, via a USB dongle, which also sits magnetically right at the back of the keyboard right there, which is really nice. So it's tucked away if you're not using it, if you're using it via Bluetooth, but also you can connect it via a cable as well. And at the back, you've got a Windows or Mac switch as well, but I've tried it and it does connect to your console too. In terms of switches, these are linear Bison switches that are custom made by Gravastar, and they sound absolutely phenomenal. What I do like is in the box, they give you a couple of extra switches that you might want to swap out and try. There's a couple here, I'll show you a close up. There's a silent switch, which I can remember, one that's really clicky. There's a couple of ones as well. That's really nice. They include them in there. You can buy them separately if you're not a fan of these, but I think you'll love them. On the subject of the box, you do get a user manual, a switch puller, a brush, the extra switches, and of course a charging cable. Okay, let's talk about battery life very quickly. So this has a 4000 milliamp hour battery in it, and Gravastar claim that you'll get around 235 hours of use. Here's the thing, for me, because I have other keyboards and sometimes I use laptops, so I don't use this all the time, and when I'm not using it, it is off. So I would say on below average use, I'm getting around 3 to 4 months before I have to charge it, but it's very difficult because I use different keyboards all the time. It's very difficult to keep track of that, but I have not got any complaints about the battery whatsoever. I think if you're consistently using it, 235 hours is way more than enough. The K1 Lite goes for around £90 in the UK. Of course, prices might vary in US and Canada markets. I'll leave links below if you want to do a bit more reading and check out the keyboard yourself. But I think it's a decent price considering everything you get in the box and the extra keys that you can try as well. Just a quick point about the things I don't like about this keyboard. The first one, or first two, are software related. So first thing is this keyboard is not compatible with Mac OS. It kind of makes sense to me because if you're buying this for gaming, which you should be, then you're not going to be gaming on a Mac. Makes sense. But if you're buying it for someone like me to potentially use it in a productivity setup because it's a really nice color and I really like the typing experience, then bear that in mind if you use a Mac. The second thing with a software related issue as well, I have never downloaded the software. I've never needed to, but I have seen some reviews online saying that there are two separate software for each, the keyboard and the mouse. That's fine though from my perspective, because I'd only want to control the RGBs and switch modes, so using the USB dongle or using wired or using Bluetooth. and I can control all of those things directly from the keyboard, so not a big deal for me. The other thing that's also worth mentioning is the outer part of the keyboard frame is starting to discolor slightly compared to the actual keys and the main part of the keyboard, and it's quite confusing because I'm not a heavy user of this keyboard, so it's just something to keep an eye on. It's very, very difficult to see, but compared to when I first bought the keyboard, there is a slight yellowish color starting to appear on the outer frame, so that's something you also might want to bear in mind. Please let me know in the comments if you have any specific questions or if you want to see a video on the M1 Pro also. Hope this was useful, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.